Kingston and St. Andrew is largely viewed as the hub of Jamaica. For many reasons, people move here to live and to work. I'm Kandi, and on this episode of Home Sweet Home, we'll be taking a little road trip with the realtor Johan O'Gilvie, who knows all too well about the top 10 places to live in Kingston and St. Andrew. Stay with us. Hi Johan, how are you?
Hi Kandi, I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good
Of
to
course,
see you
this is such a lovely place for us to sit and talk about the top 10 places to live in Kingston. Before we get into that, I want to talk a little bit about your company and what you do. Tell me about that.
I got into real estate right after I finished the UE. I decided that I'd like to find a job.
Right.
So I applied to every single company in the yellow pages and nobody responded. So immediately after that, I contacted my dad. I got a loan of 450,000 and I decided to open a company.
Okay.
I needed office space. So I contacted my uncle. He has a big multi-unit plaza and I asked him for a shop. And he was quite interested in what I was doing, which was a company to attract international investors to Jamaica. But he introduced the idea to me. He said I should help him with his project, and his project was to convert his plaza into an apartment complex in time for the 2007 Cricket World Cup. That was the point I got into real estate.
Okay.
And then I decided that I wanted to become a real estate dealer, which is one level above a real estate agent. At the time I was only an agent. So in 2008, I went to UTEC, did the dealer's course, and in 2013, the real estate board approved me as a real estate dealer. And in 2014, I formed a company called Immobilien Limited.
Okay. What does that mean?
Immobilien is German for real estate.
Since we're going to be talking about Kingston and St. Andrew though, what I want to know is how important is the area when selecting a property?
The area is as important as the structure, as the individual property itself. As a homeowner, you would like to know exactly what your neighbors are doing to maintain their property.
Right.
You also would like to know that when you move into a community, there's some sort of collective effort to preserve value and some activity to increase value. So it's very important. We're going to be considering several factors when making a selection for the top 10 list. And the neighborhood is one, the quality of the structure, the quality of the neighborhood, the quality of the people living in the neighborhood with respect to how they think about maintaining their property. That is one. You'd also like to know that the area is safe. People would like to go home and have a peace of mind, go home to quiet. You don't want any industrial noises in the area that you live in, because that will affect sleep and that will affect overall quality of life. Home buyers also consider strongly return on investment. Some people are buying property to live in, but they still would like to keep their options open and know that they can somehow earn from it if needs be. Some people don't plan to own one property, so if they buy something and they decide to move at some point in time, they'd like to rent it and generate some income from it. Definitely. And also, you'd like to know that the area is constantly increasing in value. And that's somewhat of an overlap with the other factors, but I've singled it out because I think it's a factor by itself. There's something that must be done to help to increase your property value.
All right, so let's jump now into the top 10. Of course, we won't be able to visit all 10 on this episode, but tell me about the first 5.
At number 10, we have Beverly Hills. That has a nice bit of history. It's one of the places that tour guides take tourists to have a look at, because the name Beverly Hills actually belongs to another community in America, in
Right,
California.
right,
And the tourists like to draw some sort of comparison.
right.
That community is characterized by, I'd say, half acre to 3/4 acre lots. You have some very interesting structures there. It's a community that's about 50 years old. So 50 years ago, you had the young professionals who bought into Beverly Hills, and they are still there to this day.
Right.
And they have an interest of putting their resources together to maintain the properties there. They have gone as far as to develop a website. The first community I know in Jamaica that has developed a website.
For what though?
Well, what they do on the website is share information. If there's a
Okay.
road that needs to be fixed, it is published.
Okay.
And if the authorities are unable to fix it immediately, they may pool resources and have it fixed. As well as they have other community initiatives that they publish on the website. So you would definitely like to be a part of a community like that.
All right, so we're on to number 9 now. Which is it?
Number 9 is Hope Pastures.
Hope Pastures.
Yes,
That's interesting. I would have never thought.
you wouldn't. But Hope Pastures is located immediately beside Hope Gardens.
Right.
For those who want to kind of get an idea of the location. And while I was doing my research to compile this list, I asked a few industry officials and they questioned my decision to put Hope Pastures on the list
Right.
because of the recent unfortunate news.
That's exactly what I was thinking about too. It's not that it's a bad area to live in, but I had heard of that as well.
Right, the unfortunate news about the UTech student
Right.
that was killed. It's very unfortunate. What the community has done is that they have tried to heighten security awareness since that has happened. And my recommendation to them is that they contact a company like King Alarm, and try to create a customized package for the community where you can have electronic surveillance
Right.
and possibly man surveillance. A lot of people think it's expensive. It is not as expensive as we think.
Right.
Despite what happened, Hope Pasture still is what it is. A nice place to live, nice lovely location, nice neighbors, and still a place that people would like to get into.
I know you mentioned that Beverly Hills is the only community you know that has a website for their community, but does Hope Pastures have any kind of community initiatives that they have?
Sure, definitely. If we go back about 6 or 7 years ago, Hope Pastures launched a green initiative. And they came up with this initiative because they realized that the annual rainfall in their community has fallen. So because of that, they decided to ensure that the place is always kept clean.
Okay.
There are no plastic bottles, and they encourage people to plant a little bit more.
Right.
And they actually got a grant to support this initiative.
Oh yeah?
Yes. So they are that scientific and they are
Right.
that interested in keeping their community up to a particular standard.
Okay, so let's now talk about number 8. Where do we have?
Number 8. Number 8 is specific areas within a community.
Okay.
So we're looking at Paddington Terrace, Salisbury Avenue, and Ligony Avenue. And why I single out those roads is because it's an area in transition. It was originally characterized by bungalows sitting on quarter-acre, sometimes half-acre lots. And it was traditionally a very nice, desirable place to live. What has been happening in recent years is that the developers have been going in and buying into these areas, converting these large lots into either luxury apartment
Right.
units or luxury townhouse units. And if you would like to get onto one of those avenues, you'd have to be able to access at least $30 million.
Wow.
Number 7 is Stony Hill.
Okay.
When you think of Stony Hill, you think of a fantastic view,
Yeah.
especially from one section of Stony Hill called West Armour Heights. You can see all of the Kingston Harbour, all
Wow.
of Kingston, and the airport. You can stay from your home, some people, and watch the airplanes taking
Oh,
off.
that's so nice.
So
that's so
there is no price limit on enjoying a view like
Right.
that. The environment is lush, and you have very nice, exquisite expensive houses in Stony Hill. It's an overall lovely place to live. Even though Stony Hill is only at number 7, Stony Hill has what is considered to be the best gated community in Kingston.
Which is what?
Glen Eagles.
Tell me about it.
Glen Eagles is almost across from Orange Grove. And Orange Grove is also a lovely place to live in Stony Hill.
Yes.
But Glen Eagles was exquisite when it was being built, and it is still exquisite now.
Right.
Because it is being properly maintained, and the residents there take pride in the area.
And the final one before we take our tour of the top 5 would be number 6, and where's that?
Jack's Hill. So I consider Jack's Hill to be the hill of all hills.
Oh yeah? Of all of them?
Of all hills that I have been to. It's just a lovely place to be. It's a lovely place to live. It's very serene, it's very cool. It offers a nice view.
But what makes it different from the other hills? Don't they all do that?
Sure, but this one borders Cherry Gardens,
Right.
Hope Pastures, and
True.
Millsboro.
True.
And they offer all the benefits of those. Jack's Hill would offer all the benefits of those 3 communities
in one.
in addition to a nice panoramic view.
Okay. That does sound nice.
It is, but not all that glitters is gold, because Jack's Hill has a little problem. They have a landslide hazard, and because of that landslide hazard, the planning authorities are very reluctant to issue building approvals for Jack's Hill. That can be an advantage for some and a disadvantage for some.
Right.
A disadvantage for those who like the area and would like to buy a piece of land and just build something nice there. And it's an advantage for those who live there and already own property there, property that has been built, because it may force the value to go up because people desire to live in Jack's Hill so much. They can't buy any land there to build, so they may be approached and they may be offered, hefty sums for
Right,
property.
okay, so you're saying.
Yes.
All right, Johan, well, that's a lot of information on our first 5, but we're going to be taking our road trip to visit the top 5 in Kingston and St. Andrew. So on that note, we take our first break on Home Sweet Home. Stick with us because you don't want to miss our road trip.
Welcome to The Business Year. The Business Year is a global media group specialising in economic news and business intelligence. We bring our readers first-hand insights from over 35 countries. Each of our country-centred publications features over 150 face-to-face interviews with local leaders in business and policy. We are The Business Year.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Welcome back to Home Sweet Home. Before the break, I mentioned that we're going to be taking a road trip to check out the top 5 places to live in Kingston. And here we are, we're back, and we're going to be checking out number 5, which is actually Manor Park. So come with us. Johan, this is our first stop. This is number 5. It's the Manor Park area. Tell me about it.
When you think of Manor Park, you think of location,
Right.
location. It is so well nestled between Stony Hill and Norbrook. Manor Park has access to retail, access to the golf course, access to good schools, and it's just one straight road that takes you into the shopping malls, Half a Tree, further down Crossroads. So it's a lovely spot to be, a lovely spot to live. when most people think of Manor Park, they think of waterworks, they think of Grosvenor Terrace, which some people may consider the foot of Stony Hill, and others consider it a part of Manor Park. But there's one particular part in Manor Park that I consider to be the place that holds the standard, the highest standard of property maintenance. A typical property here in Manor Park may run you anywhere between the mid-20s and the mid-30s. But in that particular spot that I mentioned, you may find that there's nothing available for sale. And you may also, nobody is moving. And even if somebody moves, it's almost as if the neighbors have the first right of refusal. Okay. And they buy into that property. For whatever reason, I can't say. But that part of Manor Park is very exclusive. And we could have very well named Manor Park higher on the list if that area was a little bigger. Right. But it wouldn't be able to compete with the 4 that are to come.
Okay. So that was number 5 on our list, and I'm eager to see what the other 4 are. So let's go. All right, so this is number 4 on our list. Tell us where we are.
Yes, number 4, this is the Golden Triangle. It's still a part of Ligoni, but it's a special part of Ligoni. And it's considered a triangle because it's bordered by 3 roads in a triangular form. Okay. The 3 roads are Trafalgar Road, Hope Road, okay, and Old Hope Road.
Okay, all right, I see the triangle now.
Yes. In that triangle is some of Jamaica's most expensive and most demanded real estate. Okay. Yes. Also in that triangle, you will find 2 traditional high schools in Campion College and also in Arden High. Okay. Just to give our viewers an idea of exactly what the location is.
So what makes this location so special?
The ease of mobility is quite simple. You can get into Half a Tree quickly, you can get into New Kingston quickly, you can get into Crossroads quickly, and by extension downtown. The residents here, they take pride in their property. There's a specific part of the Golden Triangle called Trafalgar Park that has been a very lovely neighborhood for years, and we expect that that neighborhood will continue to be lovely because the residents maintain their property. There's Hopefield Avenue, and Hopefield Avenue, if you drive along, you'll see a lot of luxury townhouses.
Right, which, let me add, is where we're standing right now.
Right now, we're on Hopefield Avenue. A lot of consulates are on this road as well. Right. You know, when you find that overseas organizations, government bodies, buy into a particular area, it means that they have some sort of confidence with regards to the upkeep, the safety, and all the other factors of consideration that we took into account when coming up with this list.
We're now off to number 3, I think it is.
Yes.
So it wouldn't be an episode of Home Sweet Home if we didn't at least showcase a property. So you've taken us to this beautiful complex in Norbrook? Yes. Right, okay. So this is number 3. Yes. Tell us about this property.
So we're here at Brook Point, and in this complex we have a row of townhouses. Each of them are about 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and one particular special one has 4 levels, 4 bedrooms, a basement bar, and some other amenities. I'm guessing that the developer who built this place built that one for himself. So you find exquisite property like this in the entire Norbrook community. To add to that, there is a swimming pool here. There is a lush, well-maintained garden inside this complex. Very nice, very inviting. It gives you that home sweet home feeling.
Right, nice plug.
And immediately beside the complex, so the complex is bordered by a golf course and Norbrook Drive. And each townhouse has access to the golf course. And the golf course runs from Norbrook Drive to Olivia Road.
So the question, of course, is what's the price of the properties in this area? Because I would imagine it's not cheap with access to the golf course and all the other amenities you mentioned.
Well, all right, let's talk about the special townhouse I mentioned. That townhouse would run you about $55 million. And maybe the other townhouses may run you about $45 to $50 million, depending on the interior.
Well, this is a fabulous property, Johan, I must say.
Yes, it is.
But before we take our final break here on Home Sweet Home, let's review numbers 10 to 3 on our top 10 places to live in Kingston and St. Andrew. Number 10, Beverly Hills. Number 9, Hope Pastures. Number 8 is Ligonier with an emphasis on Paddington Terrace, Salisbury Avenue and Ligonier Avenue. Number 7 is Stony Hill. Number 6, Jacks Hill. Number 5, Manor Park. Number 4 was Ligonier with an emphasis on the Golden Triangle. And number 3 is Norbrook. Stay tuned to find out what's number 2 and 1 on our list. We'll be right back. Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
At the number 2 spot on our list, which is Cherry Gardens, and I expected this to be our number 1. But don't reveal our number 1 just yet. Let me know or talk to us a little about Cherry Gardens.
It's a place that could have been the number 1 place to live in Kingston. But there is some other place that's a little better than Cherry Gardens in my estimation. But Cherry Gardens itself is absolutely lovely. Cherry Gardens was originally a sugar estate.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
The
entire place was a sugar estate, like most of Jamaica. The father of one of our national heroes, George William Gordon, flew down from Scotland to do some legal work. He's an attorney. Flew down to do some legal work for the owners of the sugar estate and somehow ended up acquiring the property. After he passed, then the possession moved from him to his son, our national hero, George William Gordon. And then after he passed, it moved to his widow. And then subsequently, the place was subdivided and we started to have different owners in Cherry Gardens.
That is what we now know as the Cherry Gardens Great House.
That is where our national hero had lived. And from that time until now, we've had exquisite properties. Properties that can somewhat be used as the benchmark of how properties should be constructed and how properties should be maintained. And the community has made an effort to collectively maintain, collectively preserve the value of Cherry Gardens itself. Individually doing what is necessary to preserve the value of the community and to preserve the value of each individual property. And that is why Cherry Gardens is number 2. You must be able to find at least 60 million.
I was just about to ask about the prices for the properties in this area, but I would have estimated that they're about in the 30 million range as well, so I'm surprised to hear that 60 million mark, but wow. 60 million minimum?
60
at minimum.
At minimum. You may be lucky to find an older type townhouse going for a little bit less than 60 million, but the average.
But I want to see what I can't buy, so let's do a walkthrough. So we're finally at our number 1 place to live in Kingston. This is the end of our journey, and a lot of people, including myself, would be surprised to know that it wasn't Cherry Gardens that was our number 2. So talk to us about where we are and why it's number 1.
So Kandi, here we are at the number 1 spot, the place of all places to live in Kingston. It's Millsboro. Right. When you think of Millsboro, you think of well-kept houses, a well-kept neighborhood, good real estate prices. We're talking about the best prices per square foot for building property, for land, and for rental as well. Ease of accessibility to healthcare, because the hospital is only about 10 minutes away from us here. You have ease of accessibility to basically anything that you would desire as a homeowner. And it is a place that you definitely have to see to experience. If you have the sort of financing to buy, let's say, a 1-acre lot for somewhere above 1 million US, then you can call your favorite real estate dealer, your favorite real estate agent, and go ahead and have a look at it. It's a place that you have to feel, a place you have to visualize and understand exactly what is happening here. It is bordered by Cherry Gardens and Hope Pastures, and to the north, Jacks Hill. So it's surrounded by very nice areas. Yes.
I never expected to have this amazing view. I really didn't think we were that far up. It's really spectacular.
Exactly. So from where we stand, we can actually see the Kingston Harbour. We can see the port, and we can see some parts of the Hellshire Hills. You don't get a spectacular view like Jacks Hill, but you get a little bit of what Jacks Hill has to offer. It's an excellent place to live. It is number 1. It is incomparable, and I think it will be number 1 for some time to come.
Well, I can see why this is number 1. I personally like complexes. There are lots of complexes on this road. Complexes actually make me feel a little more secure, so that's something I like. But as I can see, all the lawns look very well manicured, the houses look very well kept, as you said. So I actually think I can see myself living here in the future. So I have a new aspiration now. Of course, this has been a well-spent day. Thank you so much, Johan, for joining us to go through the top 10 places to live in Kingston. In case you missed it, Millsboro is number 1. And that's it for this week's episode of Home Sweet Home. Until next time, I'm Kandi, signing out. Bye.